Another exciting day, with Tracey and Tawny. We have so much to talk to y'all about today, and I just wanted to wait till we really get y'all in here because today's topic is going to be so touching.
Oh my gosh.
Let's bring Tawny in.
Hello. Thank
So
you.
how are you feeling, darling?
I am still exhausted. I forget, and thank you for reminding me that going through an emotional, not only was it an eventful weekend, so I'm going to just catch you guys up on a little bit of what happened. So you're like, why is Tracey asking Tawny if she's okay? I went to Vegas for an event. That was great. It was very tiring, just like most of you guys. You know, a Disney trip is fun, but are your legs not so tired and you're exhausted? Yes. Now add also the neuro fatigue and just being in Vegas with all the lights and all the stimulation. So I was very tired. I was leaving on Southwest, which I love. I fly Southwest all the time. They're my favorite airline to fly. Well, I went to ask for my early medical on board. And mind you, there's 3 women helping me. I went to the woman right in the middle. So this is going to come into play in a little bit. Adrian on the right was not the one who's supposed to be helping me anyways. And Susan on the left ended up helping me. So the woman right in the middle, she asks me, do you need assistance onto the airplane? I don't. I don't need a wheelchair or a cane. So I said no. She then asked, do you need a specific seat? I in my brain am thinking she wants me to say I have to be in like 2A and know the window or the aisle. So I go into panic mode and I say no, because I don't need a specific seat. But I do need towards the front. But that's not even the thing. I said no. And then she quickly piped in and said, well, then you don't need medical on board. And I said, what? And she said, well, based off your answers. And I said, but I get this all the time. Since my second brain surgery, every time I've flown, I have panic attacks like I need to do this. And she goes, well, you clearly don't need it. And you don't look like you need it. And you answered like you didn't. So I said, how dare you disrespect me and talk to me like this and tell me or any other people that we don't need it. You don't know what I do need and what I don't. You can't invalidate me. What do I need? A note from my neurosurgeon? I go, because I have that. I have a card because I have metal in my brain that I have to travel with everywhere. And by then, I'm so angry and just embarrassed. I'm embarrassed because she's now invalidated me in front of everyone and everyone's looking and I feel like they're like, you do look, you look fine. So you don't look like you need help. And I said, I was proud of myself. I said, I want to know your name. I'm going to talk to your manager. This is not okay. I'm an awareness ambassador, and how you talk to me is not okay. And I will not stand for this and anybody else. And I walked off. I went live on Facebook. I know to most of you that might be so crazy, but like for me to process, I know I could have called my family and processed that, but I also wanted to document because I knew that I'm not the only one who's gone through this. I won't be the last, but if more of us can speak up and talk about this, that hopefully we can get changes made, because it just goes down to, if someone is asking for medical early on board, that means they have something. So to talk to them in that way, or to talk to anyone, it's customer service. Whether I had a plane ticket, I don't deserve to be talked to like that, but to be yelled at the airport in that means, and then customer service was closed. It was a 9 o'clock flight. So I did sit down. I called customer service. They were very helpful. She said, sadly, they're closed. You can't go. Is there somebody else up there you can talk to? So clearly, I didn't want to talk to the woman who was trying to help me, but didn't help me and let me get yelled at. Definitely not talking to Adrian. So I see sweet old Susan, and I'm like, she's probably worked here for a while and has some customer service. So I came up and I explained to her, I understand that people do misuse this. However, I have had brain surgeries. I don't process correctly. So when she asked me questions that I'm not used to being asked, because when I flew out here, nobody asked me that. I didn't know how to respond. And so for her to yell at me and not give me a chance to explain myself, and she was like, "It's not okay." And she was like, "I'm want to thank you for not yelling at me." She goes, "I had a gentleman earlier who had PTSD and the same situation happened." I'm like, "Oh, so this is a trend over here that we just tell people that you don't need it. You don't need help." Because I'm just going to tell you right now, for someone to ask for help, I don't know about you guys, but it's really hard for me to do that. And I did at first sit down and just think, you know what, I just don't want to make a stink. Like, I'm just going to get on the plane and hope I don't have a panic attack and hope I'm okay and hope everything's. And then I sat there, and luckily, because me and Tracy share, I felt the support of all you guys. And I was like, oh, no, 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 no. She did not do this to me. I would not let her talk to any of you guys like this. So, when Susan helped me, though, I will tell you, as soon as she handed me that ticket, tears just started streaming down, because especially when you have an invisible illness, it's just like, it's so frustrating that I have to deal with the illness, and then I have to deal with like explaining and validating it to other people. It's like, it's not enough that my body and the medical community beats me up, but then I have to have other people question me. And like, I used to tell my mom, before, I didn't have the energy to fight back. I just took it. I just let people talk to me that way. I would just go about it because I was like, I don't have the energy to do it, but I luckily do now. And I just want you guys all to know that together, like, if something like this has happened to you, please get in my inbox, because we are collectively going to make changes. The only way is for more of us to come together to say, this happened to me. And I understand if you're like, I'm not out there and vocal like you and Tracy are. Guess what? We can do it anonymously. That's why I'm like, let us go to bat. Let me go and tell them, like, this is not okay. You should not. And I know I didn't have to show my cards, but the thing was, is they made me feel like it was that point that I had to prove it with a medical card, and it should never be that case.
Thank you so much, Tani. Thank you so much. I wanted her to get all of that out, because even speaking about it, you guys, is a healing process. It's happened to me before. I told Tani, the funny thing is, well, it's not funny. I have to choose my words wisely. The thing is, I didn't express it to Tani. I was proud of myself for handling it at the time I did. I had to walk away from the lady when she did it to me, and I had to write it down. After I wrote it down, I went back up to her and basically told her about herself politely. But at the same time, I am blessed, and I thank God for the grace that He's given myself and Tani to be able to have a voice, to be able to speak for those that cannot speak for themselves. But at the same time, a conversation I was having with Tani, it's so disheartening because it's a lot of work. But and I want to say but very quickly, because a blessing at the same time, because God has given us the strength to be able to come back and fight, to come back and defend ourselves, to come back and speak for those that cannot defend themselves, come back and reteach and retrain, which we're about to work on doing now, customer service agents that sign up for this job to protect us and to be of service to customers in despite of what we look like on the physical. It goes back to so many. When we were taught from childhood, don't judge a book by its cover. We are living proof of don't judge a book by its cover. No, we should not have to walk around with the brain card to say, hey, we are brain injury survivors. We all have them, but that's just another stamp to say, hey, we have to deal with that. But when we look at that, a stamp of what? A stamp that I am a warrior, already defending and trying to fight through the disabilities that I have. Then I have to you, because you feel you have the need to judge me. It's absolutely insane, you guys. That's what we are speaking about, and we're speaking boldly. I'm honestly going to say we're not going to stop. I would say for the next weeks, we're going to continue to speak, and we want people to speak up. We want you to speak up and speak out about it, because it's not going to stop, and they are not getting reprimanded for this, so that's why they feel oh, I could do it to the next person and the next person and the next
Oh,
person.
here's my husband called up to complain immediately because he was like, "How dare you with my wife?" He was like, "She already has a hard time flying." And you know what? They offered him $100 voucher, which first of all means you have to give them more money to get the $100. And I'm sorry, but people who just change their flights get more money than that. So me being disrespected like that and bullied and having to go through that whole ordeal to the point that, like, I'm sorry, I'm a pretty tough girl and I do have emotions that I feel, but usually I get through things and I stop crying. The fact that basically every time I've talked about this now has been tears is a lot. And like I said, I wanted to go fly to see my mom. And now, like, I'm a little nervous. Saw Dalton said, I pray I don't run into people like this at the airport. I though also want to arm you guys. There's like preventative ways. Like you can ask, ticketing agents are usually a lot nicer than the people at the gates. But I stopped doing the ticketing, waiting in line to tell them that I needed medical on board because everybody was always nice. So I don't want this to be a fear, make some of you guys not feel like you can fly. We can, but sadly, there's a lot of people that now I'm being public about it are like, the same thing happened to me. This happened to me. So it's like, instead of us all being quietly, handling this, if we come together, that's the only way to make change is by us all coming together. So like Tracey, I didn't know that happened to Tracey.
Yes.
And she wrote a letter in, and you know what? They probably didn't do much about that. But guess what, Southwest? If you get a whole bunch of fucking letters about this, sorry, pardon my French, maybe changes can happen, because I'm not going to let you guys let me get that upset and angry and cuss, because it's okay. And I never did. That's why I was so proud of myself. The whole situation, I never got that upset. But sorry, now
Yes, you deserve it. And listen, this is our broadcast. You're speaking about that. You're expressing yourself. And the blessing is for this lady that you didn't express yourself in front of her face. You could have. So it's like tit for tat. You want to disrespect me. If I disrespect, you're calling the cops. So what happens for us that's being disrespected? What is our immediate what's the word? What is our immediate gratification to? You can call the cops and say, hey, I'm being belligerent. Bitch, you're being belligerent. Yes. Because I'm standing in your face with my disability and you decide to express yourself in that manner. That's very belligerent. So that really does take me to the next place, as we need our immediate, what's the word? We need our immediate.
A representative, like someone.
So basically, whatever the word is. So if they wanted to call the police, we would have definitely been immediately reprimanded. They would have had immediate action for our reaction to their ignorance. So the thing is, how can we not only be the voice, but how can we say, hey, we have this immediate action to your disrespect, so therefore you will think twice before you so freely spew off the top of your mouth disrespect. We know when you look at situations and say, hey, if I disrespect this person, they're going to call the cops. I don't want to go to jail. But they look, you're on the other side. What can you do to me? I can disrespect you and get away with it. You're going to call. They're probably not going to do anything. I may get a letter to tell me I need to read the customer service manual or something like that. But at the end of the day, that's not enough. Because if everybody continues to do this, again, I'm going to always say, thank God for the grace over my life. Thank God for giving myself the strength. Thank God for giving Tony the strength to be able to stand up. But the reality is, you don't know how much of a setback that can have us in. To already have to defend ourselves, to already try to fight every day as warriors, to feel better about ourselves, and then to go and express ourselves to someone that's supposed to be of service, to just immediately disrespect us. There is no other language for it. It's immediate disrespect, and they get away with it, and it's totally wrong.
And the response,
I don't look like it.
Yeah, and just like the nurses, oh, well, because people misuse it. It's the same thing when they called me a druggie. When they do anything, they look at you, they see the colorful hair, they see that I'm fine, and they think, oh, she's just making it up. And it's just extremely, like you said, it takes you back, because I realized before, when people used to do that to me, I didn't let myself process it. I just was like, well, forget that. I'm just gonna take it and move on. And now that she did that, it's like it ripped open all those wounds of just all those times someone's invalidated her and been like, you're fine, you look fine, you're okay.
It's a sad situation at the end of the day. And I really, outside of us just speaking about it today, we have to take a stand to do more. Because again, I know from firsthand experience of all of our warriors that contact us via DM, say, hey, can you speak about this? Can you talk about this? Because they are not comfortable with speaking up front. They're not comfortable. So think about this. They're not comfortable with saying something on this platform here that a person may never see them. To go in person, face to face, they have to do that. What do you think will happen? That will make them go from being tall to shrink them down to the beginning of when they had to go through this disease that they had to deal with in the first place. Yeah. So it's so sad because if we keep thinking about it.
Like, I know Joyce just asked me how many times this happened to you. I honestly can't think. I don't even want to count it out because it would hurt me. It would hurt me to know how many times. That's how much I tried to just push it away. But like, to the point of, and I think that's why it's so frustrating, is because it's like, it's people in a position where you're supposed to help me. So like, you're in customer service. I said medical early on board, so you know I'm asking for more help. So for you to yell like that, and like, I'm so proud of me that I didn't have a panic attack, or that I didn't, like, my mom's known. There's been other times at the airport that someone's gone off at me and I was not nice siren. I was not nice mermaid Tawny. I was siren. I called him a fucking idiot. And I said, did I fucking stutter?
Well, she was a fucking idiot.
Yeah. And so I there was the me that wanted to do that, but I knew, and like Tracey said, what sucks is she can talk to me like that. She could say, you don't have it, and be like that. But if I started being like that with her, they would have got airport security. I probably would have been in trouble. So what she's saying is, it's really hard when we already have trouble regulating my emotions. So I'm supposed to hold myself at this level, but you working here are allowed to like pop off and get up here, and I'm supposed to just take it. Like, it's not okay. And like you said, most people a couple months ago, I would have just taken that. And I probably would have gone in the corner and I would have cried and I would have had a panic attack and I would have canceled my flight. I've been freaking out and stuck there. So we're
so proud of you for not doing that. You made it through. You absolutely made it through, y'all. Listen, when I say I'm so proud of Tawny, so I'm going to tell y'all, honestly, I saw the video. I saw Tawny's video. I did not comment on it. I couldn't comment on it. We were supposed to meet up. Tawny just had, we're laughing about it now, but she had a time, y'all. She was going through so much after that. And I didn't even tell her this morning that I saw the video. I just couldn't comment on it because I've been there. But I didn't want to comment on it to take her back. I didn't want her to have to relive it. So I left it alone. But I had to tell her, I kept pushing her, like, I knew you went through something without saying it. And I was saying, we were having one of those brain fog moments day after day. And I kept saying, Tawny, it's okay. She's like, no, I'm like, Tawny, it's okay. Tawny, it's okay. But the thing is, I'm saying that, you guys, because she didn't even realize she was reliving the trauma. She keeps saying, we're getting on the phone. She's like, girl, I don't know what's wrong with me. And I'm just like, okay, it's okay. But she's literally reliving the trauma, you guys. She's trying to be strong, trying to act like nothing happened because we didn't talk about it. So she never said, hey, Tracey, give me some time. I had some days. I saw it myself. So I just steady pushing her. Like, I don't care what you say. We're meeting. We're doing what we're supposed to do, regardless of what she had going on. But that right there, you guys, she was trying to fight through it the entire time, but not even realizing that her brain was still going through the tragedy that she just dealt with. But again, trying to live your life in spite of all of that, that's so how the brain works. Unfortunately, you cannot control everything. So the emotions, the reactions of the physical, the mental, you cannot control it. So her physical being she was showing up. But because of the mental beatdown, she was showing up, but wasn't fully 100%. And again, she's showing her beautiful face, still like.
But I'm in my PJs. I have not left this bed, just so you guys know. Like, I got out of bed to get coffee, and I have laid in bed. Tracey got me to exercise yesterday, and I walked the dogs. But like, I need rest. Like, fatigue is a real thing.
Yes, it was mental fatigue, you guys. So that's why we're speaking so loudly about this. It's not okay. She still had to show up for herself. She still had to show up to be Tawny, to show up for everybody in the warriors that we're constantly fighting for. as awareness advocates. But at the same time, I noticed it, but it was not okay. That's what I'm like, that's messed up that my friend is hurt because of the simple fact of somebody else's ignorance. And guess what? This lady is still going about her day with no problem. And then you don't realize the harm that you've caused somebody else because, again, of your ignorance. And you got to understand the ignorance is the fact of not knowing. You're in customer service. What is it? What do we have to do to plaster shit on our forehead to say, hey, when we walk up to you, customer service. Before you even open your mouth, I just need to have a sign to say customer service. Service the customer. I am the customer. Service me with respect. Now, if I was to reverse this and really tell you how I felt, how you tried to belittle me, I definitely would be in jail, you guys. Listen, y'all know I try to control my mouth, my tongue, everything, but
she's really good at it.
I could be in jail. And some days I feel like I want to because of the simple fact that it's okay for you to do it, but it's not okay for me to do it. I may feel better for that moment, and then later have to process like, dang, I should have beat her ass. But my initial reaction is this pain that you just made me feel, I want to make you feel the same. But unfortunately, I feel like I would be able to defend myself if I had to stand up in court. Why did you do that? Her immediate reaction was to disrespect me. My immediate reaction was to disrespect her.
Yeah.
She disrespected me in the way that she knew how I disrespected her in a way. So it's like tit for tat. It's okay for her to do it, but it's not okay for me to do it. Where's the justice here? How's that okay?
It isn't. But that's why I love you. And that's why coming together. And so you guys seen that, like, I'm so thankful for this because I'll be honest, I responded to some of the comments, but then like I started crying again, like hearing that other people were saying it happened to them. And it just like, sometimes like the weight of it all, you're just like, but then when I think like that, I'm like, you know what? There's only up from here. Like we can only break through this to make it better and to make it so that, like, I'm so sorry. I know there's a lot of you who've had it happen to, and maybe you're like, I can't even say it right now, Tony. I can't even like, just like, I don't know, we need to come up with like an emoji or something. But like you talked about it, it sucks that people are like, well, you should have your medical ID bracelet on so then they know. Again, why do I have to have some marker that because here's the thing. My doctor, even my neurosurgeon, because I asked that, I said, I should have my medical ID bracelet on. He goes, no, you don't need it. And I said, are you sure? Because I need to let everybody know. And he goes, you are okay. He's like, you do not need a marker that's something. He goes, yeah, you need to have your card on you because if something happens, we got that. But so if my neurosurgeon said I don't have to wear something on me, then why is the airline going to come back and be like, well, you didn't have some marker. Guess what? You know what shirt I was wearing? My Calm, Cool, and Coiled that says brain aneurysm on the back of the fucking shirt. And so like, I'm sorry, besides my fish flops, yeah, I'm sure she probably maybe was like, oh, silly. But again, because you are put together or you look a certain way does not mean there's a lot, like the fact that they said they upset someone with PTSD, there's a lot of people who look away but feel completely different on the inside. And I don't know how many times we have to learn that lesson to not judge a book by its cover. Stop judging people by how they look. And why can't we just help everybody?
Lord, one of these days, somebody is going to get it. And even if it has to start with us. And I honestly, Tony, when I said that to you earlier, guys, I left your message. I said it's a blessing. And I started off, I said it's a blessing. It is truly a blessing because we have a voice, because we can speak, because God has given us the strength. But at the same time, y'all understand it's a lot to go through. But the joy is we can testify. We've been through it. Why God has given us the strength, because he's allowed us to live it and then say, hey, I gave y'all the tools to make it through. And then at the same time, now I'm giving you the voice to speak abroad, because there's so many people that may not have the strength, that don't have the tools to make it through. So we need to let those see that you guys go through the same thing. You guys hurt the same way. You guys have the same pains that they have, but you're using it instead of fueling it and let me do what I want that way. And I Lord, forgive me, the thoughts that I had. And so that's what I'm going to take all of that energy that I wanted to react back to the young lady that called herself trying to embarrass me. I'm going to take that and I'm going to speak about it. And yes, they did not respond to my letter. And I'm glad we talk about it again, because guess what? I'm going to keep on sending the same letter and get on their damn nerves over and over again, because at the end of the day, you obviously didn't take it and do anything in, because It was in LA when it happened. Then Tawny goes to LA and y'all decide to do it again. Like, come on,
This was
seriously.
LA, Las Vegas to LA, but it was still Southwest. It's still a customer service
It's still
training
Southwest,
issue.
yes.
And
But it's and that's what I'm saying. It's not okay. So if you took it serious, when I sent you the letter February 6th, if you took it to some extent to say, hey, you guys, we might need to look at customer service. Tawny shouldn't have had to deal with this now in April. Like, I sent that to y'all 2 months ago to tell y'all, hey, you may want to look at this customer service. You may want to go back on looking at what the book is, how they talk to people, how they disrespect people. And I said, again, me being an advocate, thank God I was able to control it. But if I would have reacted in a way I wanted to react, I would have been on the news. And so that's what I'm saying. I could have been on the news, but guess what? I want to be on the news. Put us on the news right now, so we can speak about the BS that we're being thrown in our face. Why is it okay for y'all to do it? And if I react, now we're on the news. But it really does take me to the thought. Guess what? Maybe I will react.
oh,
so you can call the news, and I can play this right here back to say I'm tired of it. I've been contacting y'all. Y'all don't care. So this is me reacting to now get y'all attention. So guess what? Now that we have your attention, y'all want to do something about it. It sucks that it has to go there, but come on. We have to do something outlandish to get y'all to respect us. That's not how it's supposed to be at all.
no. It shouldn't. It shouldn't be that way at all. We shouldn't. But that's why we will go together, because the fact that it's happened to you, to me, I know in my DMs, other people, they said airline. They did not say the airlines, but it seems to be.
I'm saying
Yeah.
all
Oh,
the
no,
airlines.
I'm saying this specifically with Southwest. Yeah, no, Southwest did this. And it's not okay because I do specifically, like, I fly them all the time. So it's not okay. But I also thank you. Teresa said you are so strong enough. We are trying, but I just want you guys to know that you saying that, like, helps. It gives me the feel, and that's why I want you to know, like, I genuinely was. I went live about it, was angry, and then I sat there and I was going to just take it. I was afraid to go back up there, but because of you all, I was like, you can't make changes if you don't get uncomfortable. So you need to stand up and you need to advocate for yourself and for everybody else. So please, if something similar has happened to you, especially if it's been with Southwest, get in our DMs, okay? That will be really helpful, because I know it sucks that they don't listen till there's a lot of people, but there's a lot of us and they're going to start listening, because we're just going to get louder whether they listen this week or next week or whenever. Like, I was like, oh, you don't know who you messed with. You don't know who you just awakened. Like, I was like, I don't know what, if you know about mermaids, but like, I'm gonna make some serious waves. And you were just like, whew, get ready.
Yes.
So thank you, Tracy, for that. And thank you for everybody, what you said. It helps.
Yes, it's so beautiful. I'm so glad to see you smiling. You had to get that off your chest, and now you can breathe more, because you really need to release it. You can't hold that in. You cannot hold that in. Mm-hmm. Anybody holding stuff like that in is not doing us any good. We need to release it. We need to get on a platform. We need to speak about it. And again, as she said, get in our DMs. If you're not one to speak on a platform or boldly in your face, we would do it for you. But definitely something.
If you do, though, if you do want to come on with us and you're like, oh no, I want to say some stuff, like, the more, so basically whatever level you're comfortable at, we will meet you there. Okay. So don't be like, I'm not ready to go live and be yelling like you guys. Not yet.
That's awesome. Well, we appreciate you guys. We love you. We love you. We love you. In any situation, you guys, please, you need a voice, we are here for you. We just gotta keep pushing and keep letting it be heard loud. That is not okay. You cannot judge a book by its cover. And at the end of the day, why do we feel like we have to keep defending ourselves? It's not good. Mm-mm. All right, but keep a smile on your face anyway.
But we get it. That's the best thing, is everything grows from water. So even your tears, like, something's going to grow from this beautiful. So, like, that's why she said it was a blessing. It truly was. I know that I will not take this away. Just like I wouldn't take my stroke away. I wouldn't take any of the bad things that have happened to me, because they have made me the person I am today, and they make me stronger and be able to help more people. So it still smiles.
All right, guys. We'll see y'all next week.
Aw, okay. Love you guys. Thank you. Thank you. Thank you. Love you. Love you. Love you. All right.